through 61, we read, it says, "If you are not careful to observe all the words of this law, which are written in this book, to fear this honored and awesome name, the Lord your God, then the Lord will bring extraordinary plagues on you and your descendants, even severe and lasting plagues and miserable and chronic diseases or sicknesses, so much so that Hillary and the rest of her commies will have to have a health care program for all of you." No, you don't have that in there, but what do you think we need a health program for? It says, "Then the Lord will bring these on you." And then it says on, "And he will bring back on you all the diseases of Egypt, of which you were afraid, and they will cling to you. Also every sickness and every plague which not written in the book of this law, the Lord will bring on you until you are destroyed." Now I'm talking to a few that understand what is going on today. It's God keeping His word. And they understand that today America is in a Red Sea predicament. Do you realize how few actually understand that? We are in a Red Sea predicament. Death and destruction has been planned. I had a new revelation last night. Some of you have been liking the last few Sunday sermons because Pastor Peters has been getting in touch with his feelings and talking about feelings and why we feel certain ways. Well, there's been a lot of people feeling lately a mourning and sensing something. I'm curious in this audience, any of you been feeling it this week? I think I understand suddenly a little bit more of what I'm sensing. I am mourning because I recognize the destruction that these wicked children of the devil have planned for us. Now you say, well, I haven't heard anything about us being destroyed. Think about this. If someone was trying or planning to destroy you, do you think they would be telling you? No. And the difference today with the Red Sea destruction that is imminent upon us is the fact that at least in our Father's day, our forefathers of long ago, when they were at the Red Sea, they knew they were in peril. They had no place to go. But today, the people think it's some kind of beach party. And they're not worried. And they see the cloud of the approaching army. Do you know, what was it, 3 more divisions? Is that right, Jeff? 3 more divisions have been... 2 more divisions. So we got 3 total now of soldiers been put in this country to patrol us. There was a time when men in this country would have been appalled to think that their government was going to put armed soldiers on the street to control the population here. It's called a police state. But the kind of Red Sea predicament we're in today, we're not only looking at it as some kind of beach party, we see the army coming and saying, oh, they're coming to protect us from an Al-Qaeda. They're coming for our health, safety, and welfare. And I sense the mourning that some of us are feeling is that we know what is coming to this country. Destruction. In the book of Jasher, I've talked about this in sermons gone by. As I recall, in the book of Jasher, there were 4 groups of people. They'd broken up in groups, and they each, according to the tribes, and they each had a different response at the Red Sea. They were there at the Red Sea, and one group wanted to go back. No, the one group wanted to throw themselves into the sea. That would have been the group that would have been better dead than red, would have been their philosophy. Another group, however, wanted to take their swords, it was Judah, and go fight. You might find this interesting, but You talk about Obama's economic stimulus package, it's worked quite well for gun sales. I understand they're up 77%. People are buying guns right and left. How come? I think that they're part of that group at the Red Sea that says, we'll fight. I've often used this as an illustration. Have you ever had a time when a fly is coming around and he's bothering you, and finally you get disgusted and you get up and you go over and find the fly swatter, and you come back with that fly swatter and you can't find the fly? You ever had that happen? Some kind of intelligence warned that fly. Now, I believe that it was Beelzebub. He's the god of dung, the lord of flies. And that he gave a warning to that fly that there was a SWAT team coming. Now, I've had the same thing happen in hunting, particularly out in eastern Colorado, driving someplace, and there are a bunch of pheasants over here in the corner. They're just standing out there in the sun, and cock roosters strutting around, and you run home and get your shotgun. And you come back and you can't find them. Some kind of intelligence warned them. I am of the persuasion that God is putting as a way of protection in His flock a warning, and they're starting to heed at least a little bit of what Jesus said. Sell your robe and buy a sword. And you better be making sure that sword's clean and ready to use. I don't believe that sword was for an offensive purpose, but it was for more a defensive purpose. But if it's offensive or defensive and you don't have it, you can't use it. But there's plenty of men out there and women that are buying swords today. Why? Because they sense something's coming. This message is for the few who refuse to believe the lies of deceitful spirits and demons. The truth is, in the Gideon story, God used a very few who were willing to do what God said to do and stood on the fact that He would do what He said He would do. You could not move them off of that. They believed He would do what He said to do. And I speak to a few out there. There's still a few out there, but some of you start to vacillate. I want to read to you an email I got this week. Or maybe it was last week. It says, "Good evening, Pastor Peters. I tried to call you at 9:50 Central Standard Time, and you did not answer your phone. Do you take calls after hours? This morning, Wednesday, November 12th, 2008, there's the date, I was awakened. I heard the Lord say to me, I am breaking my covenant with my people. I then asked the Lord if He was saving a remnant. He said yes. Now, did I hear what I thought I heard, or was that Satan? I thought about it. It being 7 days since the day after election, which I too think was a day of mourning. Please tell me your thoughts. I am questioning what I heard because the Bible says He will not break His covenant, but He is God. Thank you, Pastor." And so I wrote back, yes, that was Satan or a seducing spirit. You see, I am bringing this message to a few that understand that God will do what He said He will do. He will always be one of His Word. The Word says in 1 Timothy 4:1 that the time would come when people would listen to seducing spirits. It says, we'll bring it up on the screen here, but the Spirit explicitly says that in later times some will fall away from the faith, paying attention to deceitful spirits and doctrines of demons. Well, you don't have to be some kind of Bible scholar to figure out that there are deceitful spirits and there are demons that have